everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I want to talk about views and communities. And when I say communities, I'm thinking of, each theme. Like there's, people who do discount shopping, people who do makeup, people who do planners, people who do homesteading, RVs, these kind of communities, not the overall YouTube community. Now, people from more than one I have heard talk about how their views have been less this year. Or for me, it's before this year, but I understand the reasons for mine. Like I had things going on since like October, and that kept me away from more of watching and being part of my communities. I'm in more than one. So my view counts, let's call them that, have gone down quite considerably. Okay, but this year, still I've noticed it too. Although I've been more involved in the community, there are other reasons I get. But for some people, they don't have reasons, or they don't feel that they have reasons why it would. But I think this is only going to worsen because of the smaller YouTubers. Some of them, become angry because of the changes and everything, and they just delete their channels. And I mentioned this in another video, that if they delete their channels, they're not going to be counting towards your subscription, your subscribers, I would think. I mean, if there's no channel, how can there be them as a subscriber? And they're not watching. I would not think that they would be watching videos. I could be wrong. I don't have any statistics. But yeah, so I think it goes hand in hand. This is going to be a problem. So that's going to go on from there. That's just not the only topic. So you have people who are small YouTubers, and they get very frustrated with what's going on. They're going to try. I've heard a lot of people say, read a lot of what people said, that they're going to, just work harder so they can make it. Well, some will. But you have to remember that once you do make it, to meet this new criteria, you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 365 days of the day, plus 1,000 subscribers of the day that you try to get remonetized if you had been demonetized because of this new change. Some of them are going to get to there. Then, it has to be reviewed, your channel, to see if it meets what they want and what YouTube wants as far as a channel. Some people are going to get very frustrated at any point during this, maybe already from the day that it was we saw the change. Well, I don't even know if you can call that a memo or a letter or what. But people immediately, I would think, started deleting their channels altogether. There goes your subscriptions. There goes your views. You see? Your subscribers, I should have said. And the views that they would normally give to everybody. So all this factors in. And is it factoring into your mind when you're trying to achieve this goal of reaching this goal that they have set up? That as time goes by, more and more, I feel, this is my opinion, I could be wrong, that more and more people will get frustrated, more and more people will stop. They just give up. They go on to something else. Could be some other social media. Could be just they give up. And they don't want to deal with it. But as far as right now, the views going down, it's kind of like I had told Adam this a couple weeks ago. Right after the new year, that my views had gone down. And he made a comment. He said, well, people made New Year's resolutions and not to get on YouTube or not to get online as much. So that could be a reason. He's right. I guess it was, today's closer. I'd say probably like 10 days, 15 days in of this year, around the 15th, 10th, 15th. Okay, so I've had too many distractions, and I've made this video twice, but you get what I'm saying. Views are going to go down because of this kind of frustration with smaller YouTubers. So now, And you have to kind of factor that in. How long will it go on? Will people start coming back? Whatever. You cannot predict that. There's no way to predict it. So, and you hear these larger YouTubers, whether they're in your small community or just overall, saying, don't give up. They give encouraging words and all that. I kind of feel odd about that. A little, it might not be the greatest thing to give encouragement for somebody to work hard, and they don't look at the reality of it, which is you could work hard and you're not going to make it. Okay, so don't be blinded by, this larger YouTuber says, if you work hard and all this stuff, because you don't want to be that disappointed. And I'm not saying either extreme. Those are extremes. Oh, work hard and you'll make it, or just give up. Those are extremes. Somewhere in the middle is where it's going to be. Okay, you need to think about that. This is my opinion. That's what I'm telling myself. But really, there's a big possibility either way. Okay, strike that. I didn't mean to say there's a big possibility either way. But yeah, I do think some people will just realize how difficult it is. I think the 4,000 hours is probably the most difficult for someone like me, because I usually make small videos, short videos, and to get to there, especially with the view counts going down, I think I looked on socialblade.com, and it can tell you, like, I think forecasting the future or something like that, and mine was saying years. So, and that was for the just part of it. I try to do the math, and it's still years before I would start averaging, according to that site, that 4,000 hours in 365 days, because of the history. Okay, but for me, it wasn't even that. Like I said, the money, I'm not a money motivated person, so it wasn't the money. It was the principle of all of it. Just get rid of a bunch of people, demonetize a bunch of people. Yeah, that's going to cause problems. Losing my train of thought because various kind of distractions. Anyway, the problems I'm talking about, that it's going to cause this lack of motivation, and I don't know, I've redone this video, but that people won't want to watch. People won't want to be a part of it. Not everybody, but some, and probably many. And they're less motivated, or they're working so hard on their own channel. Maybe they're not taking the time to watch other people's videos, or when they do watch them, they don't watch the whole video, so the other person's not getting the watch time. See? Okay, so there's a lot that's going to be factoring into this, as I've been saying in more than one video, of what is YouTube going to become. And there's also this, popular people. Now, I've been on YouTube for 3.5 years, probably watching close to 4 years, and I'm a person who, I like somebody, okay? But they might say things that just start to make, because you're getting to know them often very short videos. Then they say something that, no, I don't like that attitude. So you stop watching them. But there's also interest. That's how it works for me. If somebody says something and they continue down that road, and I, start to say, this person's not somebody I want to watch, I want to listen to, and so I stop. Okay, but a lot of people simply lose interest. Somebody's like hot for a while, but you can only see, watch them for so long because they start doing the same thing over and over again. I'm guilty of that. I have a whole channel dedicated to one topic, and I did it for, April would be 2 years, but I started switching it up probably after 1.5 years of it, somewhere around there, because it was the same thing over and over. And I know a lot of people in that community do the same thing over and over, and it just gets worn and tired. You get tired of it, and I stopped watching them. Some of them were just too bizarre, And people go to an extreme to get more attention toward them. Extreme, I mean, talking seriously, extremes. So, some of us don't want to see that. You listen to someone or you watch their channels and they're, okay, they're great. You can get some kind of, feeling, and they give it back. But when it starts to become bizarre just to get attention, just to get, I'd say histrionic much, not a diagnosis, just an opinion. But anyway, I'm getting somewhere. Do you get it? That just because a person is big now, they might not be so big later on. People get tired of the same thing over and over, and they can watch your past videos and see that you do the same thing over and over. And they're going to move on. But if there's nowhere they can move on to, because there's no real chance that a new YouTuber, a small channel, is going to make it unless they have a really hot product, and then they're going to get old. I wouldn't say no way, but in comparison, very little. So there's not enough variety. Variety is the spice of life. Everybody knows that. Probably we've all heard it. You got to have variety. That doesn't mean just big channels that do the same thing over and over. And a lot of them do. Really, they do. And yes, small channels can do the same thing over and over, but there is a variety. There's more. And the small channels tend to be in a certain communities. And like I've already said, the people around my age, they're often small channels. I've seen a few who aren't. But, they are. And there's not going, to me, there won't be enough, because what happens really is that people copycat. My view, I've already mentioned in a video, is that usually the bigger channels copycat those of us who are the smaller channels, which is a no-no. You should not be doing that. I'm not at all suggesting it. But there is still variety. That's not a good reason for it. Still, there's variety and there's new ideas, and people can go from that big channel to start watching the smaller channel that has the great ideas. The one that comes up with some great ideas, and they're not always new ideas. They're just modifications of ideas, according to Socrates through Plato, like I mentioned before. There are no new ideas. Yes, true. To that extent. It's just you learn. You have to have had some learning before you create whatever it is you create. Okay, talk about your stream of consciousness video. Yeah. So, gather it all together and you might make sense. And yeah, I could be one. I have actually done that sat down with a list of what I'm going to talk about, and talk about that part, check it off, talk about the next part, check it off. No, I like my stream of consciousness. I like that better. So anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this video up, but you get what I'm saying, right? So that's enough of this video for now. If you want to subscribe, click that circle over there. If you want to watch another video, click one of the rectangles. And by the way, I'm trying to do some polls. I've never done them before. Don't even know how it shows up the response. But it'll be a little circle on the right upper, a little circle with an I in it, I think. To click on that. Anyway, that's enough for now. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.